right. Well, hello, everybody. I am here with one of my favorite people, Molly Jones. Molly, I want to thank you for jumping on here and sharing your personal story of entrepreneurship. First, just tell everybody what you do.
Sure. I'm Molly Jones. I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas area today. That's part of my story that we'll talk about. But what I do, I'm an architect and a sustainability consultant, and my firm really helps people build more beautifully and sustainably all throughout the country. That's what we do. So,
I know important work that you're doing. Molly, let's go back to the beginning of when we first met. Would you be willing to describe for those who are listening today, what was your day-to-day reality like? What, in your business, what was working, what was not working? Would you be willing to share that?
Oh, absolutely. So we were coming off of a very profitable year. But the challenges were that I was working 12 to 14 hours a day. I had no time to myself, let alone to my family and friends, and just was really exhausted and overworked and overwhelmed by the whole thing and ready to make a difference. And I knew that I needed not just a coach, but a community as well in my life. And that's really,
did you know that, like, that was a thing? You were like, I need a coach and I need a community. What was prompting that?
Just loneliness. Mm-hmm. Didn't have a network of people to support and mastermind with, and didn't have the guidance, of a coach that, frankly, now I think is a critical part of my life. So,
yeah. And, what else do you want to share? What was your family saying? Like, hey, Molly, we want to see you. We don't see you. Like, what were they saying?
Almost daily. It's like, you work too much. When are you going to slow down?
How did that feel, hearing that from your family and friends?
It added more stress. It just added more stress to my life. And they were right, though. Like, they were absolutely right that I did need to find a way to work less while making more and getting my life back, just exactly what you say. So,
what was getting in the way of you? Like, what was creating these 12 to 14-hour days? Were you like involved in everything in your business?
Absolutely, every little minutia of my business I was heavily involved in. Yeah.
Why was that? I
couldn't let go. Yeah, I was really having
a enthusiast that we talk about.
maybe a little bit. Yeah, I mean, even my team, I have a lovely team of women that work with me, and one man that leads with his heart now, and I just love them dearly. But they even were saying, you've got to find a way to back out a little bit. So, to have a team that tells you that and helps hold you accountable to that is incredible. But it was true, like that. I was just literally working nonstop, 7 days a week. So
what was it about? So to back out, what was it that was keeping you in? Was it that you couldn't trust the team? That you felt like you had to do it yourself?
I think, I don't know that trust really wasn't the issue. I think the biggest issue was that we didn't have systems in place, right? So my team was then leaning on me very heavily as well. So because we had no systems, and it was all in my head. And so every question came to me. Yeah, that's really what the big issue was. Even though the team was saying, you need to stop working so hard, it was like, I was like where all the information, was held. And so I needed to get it out of my head. Yeah. And I didn't even realize that until I joined Boldheart. I didn't even realize that.
Like the whole concept of team and operations manuals and processes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know if I knew that in the beginning. I thought, if I could just make, the $65,000 a year that I used to make in corporate, I'm good. Like, what do you mean? Documenting processes. Like, so when you first came in, did you see that there was actually a light at the end of the tunnel? That could you imagine making $1 million in your business, or was it just like a dream, maybe one day?
Yeah, it was a one-day dream. Even when I got in, it wasn't until I really committed to the mindset work that it became like an absolute destiny, right?
Yeah.
That is my reality today. That that is there, even though it's
you're fast
even though
tracking.
it's coming still, it's absolutely going to happen. Yeah.
Well, what I really like to do is I like to talk to our members a couple of times in their journey, because the things that they're experiencing, let's say within the first 18 months, and then to check in again like a year later and they're at 1 million, it's two, like two different people. So so you're fast tracking the 1 million. It's going to happen within the next
in the next 12 months. Yeah, it'll
months.
happen. If it's not this calendar year, it definitely will be next calendar year. But I believe it's going to happen this calendar
So you went from working 12 to 14 hours a day, being involved with everything, being at 6 figures, and now you're within 12 months of a million in your business, Molly.
Yeah.
What's changed? What's your life like? What's your work like? What's your team like? What's your business like? What's everything like?
So being in Boldheart has literally changed every aspect of my life, like every aspect, all the business, all the personal, all of it. My team is now centered around systems and obsessed with systems, which I totally love. Right. So, and that has allowed me to get my time back, and you convinced me to have them write the systems. It's like, okay, let's try this out. And it worked beautifully. And they literally write systems that and processes that I just look at the end. I mean, it's just that part's been amazing. And having the team kind of really centered on a mission and vision for what we do every day, is very helpful, and them wanting to make sure that they're moving the business forward. And that's all because I'm a better leader than I was when I came into Boldheart, right? So Boldheart not only has, how have I become a better leader? Yeah. I got out of my head and into my heart.
Wow.
That's how. That's literally how.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I'm gonna get. Here we go.
Here we go. Let's take a moment to unpack that for a second. Sure. So you were in your head before, and then I'll ask you like how much are you working now per days and stuff like that. But I think this piece about going from your head to your heart. Yeah. Describe what it was like before when you were just in your head, would you?
When I was just in my head, it was like, we literally just have to kind of effort our way through everything we do. We have to, if things aren't working, we just, find another way to do the same thing differently, and kind of almost, in some ways, almost kind of beat it into submission, which just is
energy, right?
So push energy. And it's just so much energy that, that when it's applied in other ways is far more effective. Right. So when we apply it in mindset, when we apply it to remaining calm, having a whole lifestyle that allows us to be more intentional with everything that we do and more mindful about every action that we take, it's when you invest your energy in that and in the future where you're going, I mean, it is absolutely inevitable that will happen.
Wow.
And it is so freeing and so liberating that you just you feel it in your cells. You feel it literally at that level. So, and to have your team come to you and say, what we love about working with you? We love the work, we love the mission, but we also love that you really care about the whole person, right? Like, and that was never something that I would do at the level I'm currently doing before Boldheart, right? But now, I take them through things that, help them be everything that they want to be in their lives too. And that by doing that and helping them in that way and leading that by example, they're better people and we're a better company. It's just that simple. So
yeah, I found I didn't do this in the beginning. Not that I was like kind of leader, but the more I started really loving up my team, after, leveraging your team, putting the right people in the right seats with the right assessments, with the right onboarding, the right transparency, and all that stuff that we talk about in the program. But then when it comes to really loving them and elevating them and helping them grow personally and professionally, and just like truly taking care of the team, that's when I got people to stay for years.
Yeah.
And just like give the mission and the vision like all they've got. So you've got now like these systems, and you've got this team that loves your vision, and what's happened to your quality of life?
Oh, my quality of life, well, probably the best way to sum it up is that my wife says to me, probably 6 months ago, maybe even a year ago at this point, but she says, the Boldheart's been pretty awesome for you. I really love who you're becoming, and you can never leave.
You can never leave Boldheart.
That's what she said. So, but it really, it has changed my entire outlook on life, and it's, it really has allowed me last year, as you know, I had a health setback that put me in the hospital for 3 weeks. That before that, before Boldheart and before putting the systems in place, that would have been really, really difficult for the business to get through, right? But not only did we sail through it, but we secured about $250,000 of new work while I was laying in a hospital bed. So it's just, those systems are amazing, but it also kind of really taught me that I do have to step back. I do have to commit to working less. And it was as much of you and others in the Boldheart community, convincing me that, hey, you just have to do it, right? You have to try it on and see if it works. And then me initially ignoring that and then thinking that maybe there's something to this. And then bam, you're in the hospital and you get the opportunity to come out of that and say, I'm going to do things differently. And so now I don't work nearly as much as I used to. Those 12-hour days don't exist at all. My weekends are mine. Occasionally I might do a few things if I feel like it. If I, didn't maybe, had a few things that I didn't get done during the week because I was doing personal tasks and things that I want to do. But no, I don't work anywhere near as much as I used to. So, yeah. 8-hour days are a thing of the past for me. So,
well, so this is the thing where when I'm first talking to women in business and I say, oh, you want to go from completely overwhelmed to making so much more of an impact with your business and revenues and quality of life, you actually have to work less. And because they're not part of Boldheart yet, they think that that's counterintuitive until you come in and we leverage your team, we leverage your systems, we leverage your time, we leverage your business model, etc. And then it's like, oh yeah, it's imperative that I work less.
Yeah.
And not be involved in everything.
Oh, absolutely. And what you always say, is what got you here is not going to get you to your next place. And it's absolutely true. And what I realized was that if I don't leverage my team and leverage my systems and leverage my time in the way that you taught, the follow the recipe way, that I was just going to remain where I was. And I didn't want to remain where I was. I wanted my life back. So I did the things.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Show up and follow the recipe is what we say.
Yeah.
Because a lot of women secretly, when they're burnt out and they're working those 12, 14, 16-hour days, they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. No. Because they think that making 2 times, 4 times more in revenues means 2 times, 4 times more work. Mm-hmm. And so a couple quick questions in the time that we have left today. Number one, was there any resistance to joining the program, right? Because it's like a bit of a commitment in a few different ways. Mm-hmm. What was it that came up saying, oh, I'm not so sure? And how did you overcome it?
Yeah, so what was interesting was Amanda Hinman, who's so lovely and wonderful, was the lovely woman that was reaching out to me. I had connected with Boldheart through another coach that I had done some work with in the past, and there just wasn't the community component. And my other coach said, "Go check out Boldheart." So I, get in contact with you. Amanda's talking to me, and and I'm like, I love everything that she's saying, but I just really had some hesitancy around the time commitment and around the dollar commitment. I'd never been in a formal coaching program prior to coming into Boldheart, and boy, did I pick the right program to start with. So, and it just, and so Amanda, the amazing thing is she followed up, which I was, and she did it in such a beautiful and kind way. And then she suggested that maybe I come to the mindset retreat. And I was about 30 minutes into the mindset retreat and thought, oh, things are really different here. I love this. This is my home. I'm here. So, yeah.
It's almost like the vibe that you hadn't experienced elsewhere gave you yourself permission to say, okay, I will commit my time and I will commit of my financial resources, because this is the place where I'm going to get results, even though I haven't gotten results before.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly what you said. And the fact that I now have permission to step into who I truly am and be my authentic self in personal life and in my business. Mm-hmm. And it's paid off in droves. It's been just incredible.
We talk about in the program about how when we are the fullest expression of who we really are, our business grows.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. There's no doubt. Yeah. I have proof.
Yeah, and so the proof is there. I'd love to hear your thoughts for someone who's brand new, who doesn't really know what a day in the life of a Boldheart business member is like. What aspects of the program helped you transform your business, transform your life? Like, if you had to look at all that is the buffet that is being offered, what are the things that you're like, yeah, I can point to this, that, and the other?
Yeah, so what's interesting is I think every aspect of the Boldheart journey has been incredibly and deeply meaningful to my life. Some parts of it have been more incredible and deeply meaningful at one time, and some parts at another time. And so, and Fabienne, when I show up to Q&As, most of the time I don't even have a question. I'm literally just soaking it in, because somebody comes with a question and hits on an item that I maybe don't have an issue with then, but you know what? Maybe just even later that week, something might come up, and I've learned, from the group. So I think the Q&As are an incredible source of information, and I get to every single one that I possibly can. I think that the activators have been incredible. I'm going through some of them for the second time now, and they're every bit as meaningful as they were the first time, but in a different way, because my business has grown. And then, the pods have taken on, a deeper meaning currently than they've always been meaningful, but there's a synergy in the pod that I'm currently in that's just, elevated from even the amazing synergy of some other pods. And then, of course, my accountability buddy is just phenomenal. So we just will be friends for life. So that's been incredible.
Yeah,
so the community is really amazing.
Yeah, if you're listening to this and you're not sure what a pod means, it's like we offer masterminding. Your accountability buddy is somebody that you grow really close with, and you get to know each other's businesses in a way that in your accidental communities, the other people aren't on the path to $1 million. So it's like it's different when you've got people who are truly committed to the journey. Let's just say somebody is listening and is completely inspired by your transformation. And I also just want to say, in a year and a half, like, you'll be in a totally different place, right? Yeah, so for this stage of your journey, what would you say to a woman who's like, wow, I am working 12 to 14-hour days. Everything depends on me. I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I certainly can't see myself getting to $1 million, what would you say to her that you would have loved to hear 2 years ago?
Yeah. So what I would say is do yourself a favor and come into a community like Boldheart that can help you. You don't see right now that you have the time to do it, but you'll never have the time to do it if you don't just step in. So step in, take advantage of what, not only you, Fabienne, of course, the incredible recipe that you put in front of us, but also the whole community can support you. They support you through your challenges. They celebrate with you, and you don't want to miss another day without them. So.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much, Molly, for your transparency, your heart. And I just want to kind of love on you just for a split second. And you give so much in the program to everybody else. You are kind of the epitome of a Boldheart business member in the sense that we talk about extreme generosity. We talk about a rising tide lifts all boats. We talk about just coming from your heart. And this is you, Molly. This is you.
Yeah. And no matter what you put into it, you get more out of it.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So thank you for creating this. Yeah, thank you for creating this community. It's so deeply meaningful. Yeah.
Thank you, Molly. Thanks for sharing your story, and thanks everybody for joining us. Wise words. Lots of love, Molly. Thanks so much.
Mwah.
Mwah.